The sun dipped low over the bustling streets of San Francisco, casting a golden haze across the farmer's market where Lila stood, her hands stained red from strawberries. Her apron was threadbare, her shoes scuffed, but her smile was bright as she called out, "Fresh strawberries, $2 a basket." At 17, Lila had learned to make every penny count, scraping by in a cramped foster home. Her days were long, her dreams small, a warm meal, a new pair of socks, maybe a book from the second-hand shop. Yet, her eyes held a quiet strength, a spark that refused to dim. Across the market, 3 boys swaggered through the crowd, their designer sneakers and tailored jackets screaming wealth. Ethan, the eldest at 22, had a sharp jawline and sharper wit, always ready with a quip. Noah, 20, was the charmer, his grin disarming but his words often careless. Caleb, 18, was quieter, his thoughtful gaze often lost in the noise of his brothers. The Warwick brothers were heirs to a tech empire, their father's name plastered on billboards across the Bay Area. They were untouchable, or so they thought. "Look at her," Ethan snorted, nudging Noah as they passed Lila's stall. "Bet she hasn't showered in a week." Noah laughed, loud enough for heads to turn. "Strawberries? More like desperation on a stick." Caleb frowned but said nothing, his eyes lingering on Lila's weathered hands as she arranged her baskets. Lila's cheeks burned, but she kept her head high. She'd heard worse. Foster homes had taught her to swallow insults like bitter medicine. Still, as the boys walked away, their laughter echoing, something in her chest tightened. Not anger, something deeper, like a memory she couldn't place. The market closed at dusk, and Lila packed her unsold strawberries, her earnings barely enough for a bus ticket home. As she lugged her crate toward the stop, a man in a tattered coat approached, his hands trembling. "Got anything to spare?" he asked. Lila hesitated. She had $6 to her name. But his hollow eyes mirrored a hunger she knew too well. She handed him a basket of strawberries. "Here," she said softly. "They're good." He nodded, gratitude in his silence, and shuffled away. Unbeknownst to Lila, Caleb had lingered, watching from a distance. Something about her stuck with him, the way she didn't flinch at his brother's cruelty, the way she gave without hesitation. He slipped away before she noticed, but the image of her stayed. The Warwick brothers' mansion was a glass-and-steel monolith overlooking the Pacific. That night, their father, Richard, called them to his study. At 50, he was a titan, his empire built on ruthless innovation. But tonight, his face was shadowed. 15 years ago, he began, "Your mother and I lost someone. Your sister, Lily. She was 2 when she was stolen from a park. We never found her." His voice cracked. "I've hired a new investigator. There's a lead." Ethan rolled his eyes. "Another dead end, Dad." Noah shrugged, already bored. Caleb, though, felt a chill. "What's the lead?" he asked. "A girl," Richard said. 17. In foster care. Selling fruit at a market downtown. Caleb's stomach dropped. He didn't know why, but he thought of the strawberry seller. Days later, Lila was back at the market, her stall quieter than usual. A woman in a crisp blazer approached, her demeanor all business. "Lila Monroe?" she asked. Lila nodded, wary. "I'm a private investigator. I need to talk to you about your past." Lila's heart raced. She knew little of her early years, only that she'd been found abandoned at a bus station at 2, bounced through foster homes ever since. The investigator's questions were precise, birthmarks, memories, a faded scar on her wrist. Lila answered, confused, until the woman handed her a card. "Call me if you remember anything else. This is important." That night, Lila dreamed of a park, a woman's laughter, and a teddy bear with one eye. She woke with tears on her cheeks, the card clutched in her hand. The Warwick brothers, meanwhile, were unraveling. Richard's revelation had shaken them, each in their own way. Ethan buried his unease in parties, Noah in flippant jokes, but Caleb couldn't shake the image of the strawberry seller. He returned to the market alone, watching Lila from afar. She was different today, distracted, her smile faltering as she handed a free basket to a young mother struggling with a crying toddler. Why do you do that? Caleb asked, stepping forward. Lila startled, recognizing him. Her guard went up. Do what? Give stuff away. You barely have anything. She shrugged, her voice steady. If I can help, I do. Doesn't cost me much. Caleb wanted to say more, but his phone buzzed, his father, summoning him home. The investigator was there, her face grim. We have DNA results, she said. The girl at the market, she's Lily. The room spun. Richard's eyes filled with tears. Ethan scoffed, no way. That nobody? Noah looked uneasy, but Caleb's heart pounded. He'd known, somehow. They found Lila the next day, sitting on a park bench, staring at the investigator's card. Richard approached first, his voice trembling. Lily? I'm your father. Lila's world tilted. She wanted to run, to laugh it off as a cruel joke, but her eyes, held her still. The brothers stood behind him, Ethan and Noah shifting uncomfortably, Caleb watching her with something like awe. The truth came in fragments, a nanny with a grudge, a kidnapping, a trail gone cold. Lily listened, her hands shaking. She didn't belong in their world of mansions and private jets. She was a strawberry seller, a foster kid. But Richard's embrace, warm and desperate, felt like the part from her dream. The brothers struggled. Ethan's guilt manifested as anger, Noah's as avoidance, but Caleb sought her out. He found her at the market, still selling, refusing their money. I don't need pity, she said, her voice fierce. I've survived this long. You're not alone anymore, Caleb replied. You don't have to just survive. Weeks passed, and Lila grappled with her new reality. The Warwicks welcomed her, but the mansion felt like a cage. Ethan's snide remarks didn't stop, though they softened. Noah tried to charm her, but she saw through it. Caleb, though, was different, quietly leaving books by her door, asking about her life, listening. One evening, a fire broke out at the market. Lila, there late to help a vendor, ran back for her crate, not for the money, but for the photo of her foster mother tucked inside. Smoke choked her lungs, but she emerged, coughing, clutching the picture. The brothers, alerted by Caleb's frantic call, arrived as paramedics swarmed. Ethan, for once, was speechless. Noah's bravado crumbled. Caleb ran to her, pulling her into a hug. You're insane, he whispered, but you're our sister. The fire was the turning point. Ethan apologized, haltingly, for his cruelty. Noah started showing up, not just to joke but to help. Lila began to trust, to laugh, to share her dreams, small ones, like opening a community garden. Richard, inspired, funded it, but Lila insisted on working the soil herself, teaching kids from her old foster home to plant strawberries. At the garden's opening, under a summer sky, Lila stood surrounded by her brothers, her father, and a crowd of strangers who'd become family. She looked at the red-stained hands of a boy planting beside her and saw herself. Kindness doesn't cost much, she said, echoing her own words. Caleb smiled, Noah nodded, and Ethan, for once, agreed. The garden thrived, a testament to second chances. Lila, once lost, had found her place not just as Lily Warwick, but as the girl who gave, who loved, who reminded them all what it meant to be human.